Happy Tuesday, my friends, September 15th, and welcome to Almost Live Stamping with Charlene. Tonight, I'm going to show you how to make this really fun stationery box. It fits about maybe 5 cards and envelopes, or you could put some cards and postage stamps and pens inside and some fun stickers. It really makes a great gift to go along with a set of handmade greeting cards. It's really easy to make once you follow the steps. So I will show you all of the measurements and I'll give you the complete tutorial on how to make it. This is part of my Template Tuesday, where if you go to my blog, stampinwithcharlene.com, you can sign up to receive an email called Template Tuesday. And every Tuesday, as I can get around to it, I send you a link to a free template. This is too difficult actually to put on the website, so that's why I am doing this as a tutorial for you. So be sure to say hello if you're here for the first time. Leave a comment. I am watching this premiere live along with you. Be sure to subscribe, hit the little bell icon so you can receive an alert whenever I post a new video, and let's get going with this really fun DIY stationery box. Here's the box, and it fits our standard size card, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. The box is a little bit bigger, and when you open it up and look inside, you'll see that there's a divider in here, so you can keep your cards on one side, your envelopes on another side. You can keep some pens in there, some postage stamps, some stickers, and it has this really fun magnetic closure to keep the lid down. Now this one is this was my sample, so it is a little bit flimsy because I'm gonna take it apart for you and show you how I assembled the different pieces. So don't get upset when you see that I take the box apart. That's just part of what I want to do to make it easier for you to see how the pieces all fit together nicely. So let's get started with, let me just show you all the different components of the box. Okay, you are going to have, I know, normally I would just be like busting a gut, like how could you take that apart? You have one piece that is the cover of the box. Turn it that way so you can see it better. And then you have 2 pieces that make up the box itself. These are 2 pieces of, these are 2 pieces of 12 by 12 cardstock. So for the entire box, you are going to need 2 pieces of 12 by 12 cardstock. Currently, Stampin' Up! Sells their 12 by 12 cardstock in a pack of 20 sheets, 2 each of the colors in each color family. Now, because I am using the Playing with Patterns Designer Series paper, if you want your box to look like mine, I suggest that you purchase either the Subtles pack of 12 by 12 paper or the Brights pack. And we can find that paper, it's on page 144 of the annual catalog. You'll see up here on the upper left hand side, this is the 12 by 12 cardstock. It's sold in the different color families. I went through and I figured out that the Subtles pack or the Brights pack is what coordinates the best. It has the most matching colors and the most coordinating colors with the Playing with Patterns Designer Series paper. And because you're going to need 2 sheets for each box, you will be able to get at least maybe 5 boxes per pack of paper. So let's get started with the measurements, and I am excited about this project because we are going to use a tool that we have not used yet here on Almost Stamping Live with Charlene. This is the Simply Scoring tool. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is take 2 pieces of your 12 by 12 cardstock, and you want to cut them 7 inches by 12 inches. And you want 2 of these. Okay, now let's just go ahead and cut all of the 12 by 12 cardstock. So you want 2 pieces that are 12 inches by 7 inches. And then you want 1 piece that is 4.5 inches by 11 3/4 inches. You want 2 pieces that are 2 inches by 6 inches. And you want 1 piece that is 2 inches by 4.5 inches. So you can take and set aside these 3 pieces, the 3 pieces that are, the 2 pieces that are 2 inches by 6 inches, and then the one that is 2 by 4.5. Take these and set these aside. You will not need those yet. Let's set aside the one that is 4.5 by 11 3/4. And we will set aside one that is 7 by 12. And let's start with our first piece. And if you'll notice on our Stampin' score that there's a ruler along the top with in inches. And then there's also this really cool little holder thing where you can hold the little markers and you can put them in there if you want to. So let's just go ahead and do that. I need to score this at 1 inch. I need to score it at 5.5 inches. You don't need to do this, only if you want to, but I just thought, oh, it's fun, why not? Another one at 6.5 inches. And then another one at 11 inches. And these are just markers that will make it easier for you to know where to use the Simply Score tool. So the first thing we're going to do is put our little stylus here at the 1 inch mark, and we are going to score down along the 12 inch side. We're going to score at 1 inch. We are going to score at 5.5 inches, at 6.5 inches, and then we are going to come down here and score at 11 inches. Then what we're going to do is take the paper and turn it sideways and come over here and score down. This is the 7 inch side, and we are going to score down at 1 inch like that. And we'll set that piece aside, and we're going to do the same exact thing with the other piece of 7 by 12 paper. So let's score it at 1 inch along the 12 inch side, 5.5 inches, 6.5 inches, and 11 inches. Then we'll flip the paper sideways, and we will give it a score along the 7 inch side down all the way to 12 inches at 1 inch. So now we will have 2 pieces of paper with score lines that look like this. And while we have our score tool out, let's go ahead and take the piece of 4.5 by 11 3/4 paper, and this one we are going to score at 3 3/4 and 5 3/4. So let's put a little marker there at 3 3/4 and another one at 5 3/4, and then we can take out the other 2 placeholders and put them in that little storage container. So we're going to score this one at 3 3/4 and 5 3/4. So now you're done with your cutting and your scoring. How easy was that? Once you have the measurements and you know how to where to score and where to measure and cut, everything else is from here on out. It just goes together like a puzzle. And there's also this little, at the bottom, little place to keep the scoring tool. So we can set that aside. And now we want to take our paper snips and let's work on both of the pieces of 7 by 12. This is what is going to make the box for us. Okay, so we are going to, on each one, you'll see there down here, there's this little scored square. So we can just take our paper snips and we can cut that out and throw that away or leave it for in your scraps if you want to. We're going to do that on both of those. Cut that out and put it with your scraps. I could not bear to throw away a little square of pool party paper. And then on the other little squares, you're just going to cut up from the bottom to that 1-inch score line that you made. Okay, and to do that on both of these. Can you already in your mind see the box coming together? Once you have it all scored, you have your little lines cut, your little squares cut out, let's take our bone folder and make nice, crisp, burnished fold lines. So the box will be nice and firm. And Pool Party is not one of the exact colors that is part of the Playing with Patterns paper, but I just liked the softness of it. I liked how it went with the pattern that I chose. So that is the color that I am using for my box, but you can use whatever you want. And the other good thing is that there are some great patterns in the Playing with Patterns designer series paper that are very masculine. So you can even make a box of masculine cards and give it to one of your male friends. So, okay, now we have both of our boxes. They are all scored and ready to go. So we're ready to put them together. So take one of the pieces and let's take some tear and tape adhesive. This project uses quite a bit of tear and tape adhesive, so it is always good to have this on hand. So I put some tear and tape adhesive on this little square and on this little square. Then we'll go ahead and fold in those two sides like that. See how easy it's coming together? And now what we want to do is, this is what it's going to look like. So now let's take some tear and tape adhesive and put some along the bottom and along the inside of this. So let's pull off the backing for the tear and tape adhesive, and then we'll take the bottom and close it up like that, and then take this side and line it up as best as you can. Just like that. And then we're going to do the same exact thing with the next box. So to review, this is a great thing to review again how to do it. We are going to take our tear and tape adhesive, flip up two of the squares, and then fold these in like that, and let's just fold this back. And then put tear and tape adhesive along the bottom and along the side. This is a project where you do want to make sure that you go the entire length. You don't want to skip because you want it to stay together so that it's nice and strong and stable and sturdy and lasts a long time. Okay, let's take off our tear and tape adhesive backing and then fold in the bottom. And adhere it like that. Fold up the side and adhere it like that. And now we have our 2 boxes. So for the next step, we are going to attach the boxes together. To attach the boxes, what we want to do is take our tear and tape adhesive, and on one of the boxes, we want to outline the entire box with the tear and tape adhesive. So put it on all 4 sides, and it doesn't matter what side of the box you use or which box you use because they are identical. And then we are going to peel off the backing of the tear and tape adhesive. We'll ignore my cat in the background. Can you hear him? He always gets so loud at night. I don't know what it is. I think he might start seeing shadows outside or something, and he thinks it's bugs or other animals moving around. I don't know. Okay, so here's our one box that doesn't have the tear and tape adhesive all over it, the other one that does. So we are just going to take the one box, place it on top of the other, and just have them meet up as close as they can to each other. And then you can take your bone folder if you want to use it to help you burnish the tear and tape adhesive so that it sticks to the other box. So they really are attached tightly together. That is how you put together the box so that you have the divider in between. So now let's move on to the cover. So now that we have our box completed, we are going to take the piece of 4.5 by 11 3/4 piece of 12 by 12 cardstock, which is now cut and scored, and we're going to just fold that over at, we scored this at 3 3/4 and 5 3/4. And then what we want to do is on this larger piece here is put on the inside, we want to go ahead and put tear and tape adhesive on the inside of this. Love tear and tape adhesive. It just makes this, it's strong enough, but it's not too strong to where you can't work with it. And it's just the perfect thing to keep it nice and sturdy. So we'll rip off the top portion of this. And I think you can guess what we're gonna do next. So this piece right here measures the same size as the box. So we are gonna take this and place it on the back of the box so that it covers the back of the box. Okay, can you see that? And this is how we get our lid and our flap. Okay? And let's just press that down nice and tight. Isn't that great? That was so easy to put that box together, wasn't it? Admit it, that was so easy to make a box. It's so impressive because it has that little divider in there and it has the top that lifts up. So impressive. But look, This is kind of not professional looking. The sides aren't that professional looking. The bottom's not that professional looking. And it's not decorated. So let's move on to covering up the yucky looking sides. Let's take the smaller pieces of 12 by 12 cardstock that we cut down. I went ahead and already put the tear and tape adhesive on the back of these to save time. So you're going to do the same thing, just outline one side with tear and tape adhesive and peel off the top. Then go ahead and take the solid piece, and it fits exactly over the side of the box. So now the two boxes that we had stuck together, it looks like one box because we covered it with this side piece. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And as soon as we are done with one more step after this, then we get to the best part, which is decorating the box. So I have my other piece. This is the side of the box. I'm going to go ahead and cover it up so it looks nice and finished and professional. And then the bottom of the box, I'm going to take the smaller piece and the same thing with the tear and tape. Oh, tear and tape is one of those things that you also want to add to every order, every other order, along with glue and Whisper White cardstock and cutting blades, the things that I like to always add to my orders. Okay, so now I'm putting the bottom of the box on. So now our box is completely professional looking because all of the places that we attached it together are covered with cardstock, and we are ready to move on to decorating it. For the Designer Series paper, you're going to need two pieces that measure 4 1/4 by 5 3/4, and two pieces that measure 1 3/4 by 5 3/4. Now, this Playing with Patterns Designer Series paper, it comes in 6 by 6 size. So for these two pieces, you can actually use two 6 by 6s, and you can cut out all 4 pieces from two 6 by 6 pieces of paper. So this is what you're going to end up with: 2 4 1/4 by 5 3/4, and 2 1 3/4 by 5 3/4. Then you need to go ahead and cut a piece that is 4 1/4 by 1 3/4 and 3 1/2 by 4 1/4. Okay? So now we can take our multi-purpose glue and let's take our box and flip the box over, and we'll start from the back and work our way forward. I have some, give me a second while I open up my brand new multi-purpose glue. And you can use tear and tape adhesive if you want to on this, but the multi-purpose glue also works fine. And you can use whatever pattern you want to use, whatever paper pattern you want. And now I'm just going to layer this on the back, and then I will work my way around. Let's take one of the 2 inch by 5 3/4, or 1 3/4 by 5 3/4 inches. This is for one of the sides. Like that. Then we'll come to the front, and we will take the other 4 1/4 by 5 3/4 piece. Do you see how easy this is when it's broken down step by step? For you, it just goes together like a puzzle. And then we'll take the remaining 1 3/4 by 5 3/4 piece and put that. And now we have 2 places left to put the designer series paper. I did not put any on the bottom. You can if you want to, but I did not put any there. This smaller piece is going to go here on the top. And the remaining piece is going to go on the front. And you can just see how you could just get a little assembly line going, cut out a bunch, score a bunch, make a bunch of boxes. Make a bunch of cards while you're watching Christmas movies or whatever it is you're watching, Dancing with the Stars, whatever it is, and you will be done. Okay, so there is the box. That's how easy the box was. And so the only thing that's left now to do is to decorate the box. And you can decorate it any way you want. So let me see the box I deconstructed so I can show you how I decorated the front of it. This is how I did the front of the box that I took apart at the beginning. And I'm gonna go through and show you how I did it, but you can do whatever you wanna do. So the first thing I'm gonna do to give it a chance to dry is attach the magnetic piece. Now, what I usually like to do is use a sheet of sticky back magnet, and I like to use my circle punch. And I like to, let me show you from this is another project that I made a while ago. I like to use my circle punch and punch out a nice circle magnet, but I didn't have any of that, so I am just using some sticky back magnet that I had, and I've had it for so long that the sticky back part isn't sticky anymore, so I'm using some tear and tape adhesive. And then you just place it wherever you want on the inside, but the way to get it to line up is to put it on top, and this goes for however you want to put the magnet. Put it on top of its little mate, and then close the box and adhere it. So now it will line up and you're not trying to guess. Okay, so I'm putting that on there with the tear and tape adhesive, but I do prefer, I just think it looks a lot nicer when it's cut out with a circle punch or a square punch, but I just used what I had for this. So now let's get on to the decoration. If you want your box to look like mine, okay, so after we put down this piece of Night of Navy with the crushed curry and the ribbon, I went ahead and used this die from the Happy Dies, and I used it on a piece of Calypso coral, and I cut out the word happy, and I just attached it underneath. Now you'll see on my first example, I cut out the border on the top, but on this one I left it, so you can do it however you want to do it. I'm having a hard time getting that straight there. Okay, then I used the balloon dies to cut out 3 different balloons, and I stuck these on with Stampin' Dimensionals. And I'm just gonna go ahead and place them on here and save you the agony of having to watch me glue everything. I cut out 3 little, with this little baby bow, I cut out 3 Night of Navy bows to put on the top of the little end of the balloon. And I want you to look at this fun piece. This die cuts out the little strings for the balloons, which are so fun. And what I did was, if you look at my little sample, I placed them on there so that they're all going in the same direction. Okay, and once again, I'm not adhering mine, I'm just laying them down just so that you get the gist of what I'm doing, but I did use my multi-purpose glue to adhere everything. And then I took the little banner die, which is this one here, and I made 3 different banners. One out of Calypso Coral, which I actually put underneath the balloon, the little balloon strings. And then I did one in Crushed Curry down here, and I did one in Night of Navy at the bottom. And to just finish it off, you look at my little discombobulated sample here that I did. I took some of the Playing with Patterns resin dots, and I put the tiny purple posies here where the bow meets the end of the balloon, and I put different color of the small tiny resin dots on the different parts of the banners. And that, my friends, is all there is to making the DIY stationery box. So just go back to my blog, or you can rewind the video if you would like to get all of the dimensions and the details. This was such a fun project and so easy to do. So if you just take it step by step, follow my measurements, follow the scoring, and decorate it however you want to, you can just make a lot of them in a little bit amount of time. Make sure you have enough tear and tape adhesive and enough pieces of 12 by 12 cardstock. You can use any designer series paper that you want to match any of the different cards that you've made, and you can give them as Thanksgiving gifts, teacher appreciation gifts, Christmas gifts, hostess gifts. The possibilities are endless for what you can use the stationery box for. It is so much fun, and I'm so glad that I got to share it with you. I wish I could reach through the camera and just give you guys all a big high five or a hug. Please be sure to join me again next Tuesday night, where I have another special tutorial planned for you. Also, be sure to share the link to this video with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, by email. There's a way to do that if you look down below. Just click on share and it'll give you a bunch of different options. Let's all get paper crafting together. It is so much fun, and I love this community that we all have and the friendship that we share. And thank you again so much for watching. I will see you next week.